welcome. How you doing? Very excited, right? Hasn't the music been so uplifting? Yes, yeah. Since some thumbs and hearts showing in, we've all been, really feeling that. And that first song, that turn, Ecclesiastes, right? That message that was given to all of those within the Judeo-Christian traditions about that idea that there's a time for everything. But we don't even be before the Judeo-Christian traditions, and we think about Malbon, and we think about that idea of our indigenous cultures, right? The original cultures. They were all saying, pay attention. That was part of their spirituality. Pay attention to what is going on in the world, because the energies, it's all about energy. And we were getting so scientific these days, and we're realizing things are all about energy. And they were all about energy back then. Feelings, being really sensitive, intuitive to what's going on so that you pay attention. And so when there is a change of season, there is a change of the energies that are happening in our world, in our time, in where we live and what's going on. And if we're being true to a spiritual journey, that means we are paying attention to those energies and how they are moving us, how they are directing us, and how that we can then pull into those energies, tune into those energies, and utilize them for our own upliftment, our own growth. And one of the things that is very difficult for most of us to look at, but something that is so imperative to anyone on any type of true spiritual journey, is that idea of looking at that concept of shadow and then of death. Of the idea of the cycles, of the idea that things break down in order to be built up. And that this is part of our walking and our living and what we need to understand in life. But so much in our culture that we want to turn away from that. Right? We only want spring. We only want newness. We only want youth. We only want all of that other stuff. And then we want summer when we can be out there and full of abundance and action. And we want to stay in that idea of growing up and learning and everything, and not to come to these other places in life. In the contemplative world, there's philosophy that talks about how we start out, we need to grow up. Right? You do your spiritual work, you need to grow up. But growing up also means recognizing the things of life and how you have to take care of things, and you want to be successful, and you want to work hard, and you want to do. So we grow up and we do these things and we accomplish. But the next step is showing up. And people show up. Showing up to help another. Showing up to share your talents. Showing up to make life easier for others. Showing up, but a lot of times people show up in self-righteousness, right? Showing up still with judgment, showing up with all that other thing. But the next place is waking up. And fall is one of those seasons that moves us into this place of waking up. Why? Because we're there where the veil between the worlds is the thinnest. And death is at our door, all around us. The brilliance of fall starts to hit us, and all of the leaves start to change, and the foliage is beautiful, but then they start to fall, each leaf, falling to the ground. And do we do that? Do we allow for things to fall off? Then that tells me where I am in my spiritual development, where I am in my life, and where do I want to be? Do we want to be awakened individuals who really understand and know, who are living in synchronicity and living in understanding of the greater vision of life and learning? One of those things is really accepting the shadow of ourselves. The big thing in the growing up phase, is like striving and making mistakes. We don't want to acknowledge the mistakes. as we get into this awakening, as we start to look at the shadows, being able to embrace the shadows, and sometimes those shadow places, they're as brilliant as the change of color on the leaves, right? I don't want anyone to see that. Most of the time, they've all seen it already, right? Those self-defeating behaviors, that little self-righteous digs that we do or live in. Everybody sees it. Everybody knows it. There's nothing to hide. But most of all, what sees it and doesn't judge it is this amazing energy of life that just says it's just part of the change in the circle. It's just part of what's going on. Why do we take it so serious? Why do we take it so serious that we get it wrong? Or the things that we want to fix are not going our way? Why does it shut us down? Fall is the season of water. Water is about emotion, cleansing, and really deep feeling, moving in it. There's so much waiting to be harvested by us. We've worked so hard, but to let those few places of those shadow pieces, those shadow blocks that we say, no one is ever going to know this about me. And we might have been really good about hiding that. Really good at really feeling self-righteous or justified in that. But the death place calls us to look at it, to walk through it, to move beyond it. Because our greatest fear is the fear of walking through our fear. Because at the other side is this energy, is this beauty, is this magnificence. You know, that our songs are saying, turn, 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 the season, everything. There's a time for everything. It's all happening. Let it happen. And then the other one tells you, well, we're trying to fix and change things. It's color to the wind. It's like, yeah, we're trying to fix and change, but meanwhile, there's something else going on here. Most of you know or have heard that our son is dealing with cancer right now. And he is getting thinner, if that could be something that you do. When I can't see any ounce of muscle left on him, or fat, and he's getting more and more pain, and he's getting less and less he's able to do things, and they're putting him on more and more medications, and he's getting, because of the steroids, he's getting sharper and nastier and right in there. And I still think that I can be so loving and so wonderful that I can do the right thing, and there is no right thing but just to be. And this season is that season of allowing the flow of life and death to be what it is. If we can face these challenges, if we can stand in that, if we can make that pure connection, that's what the rituals of this time help us to do. They help us. This is the time that when the worlds are between the thinnest, what happens? The whole lineage of ancestors are there standing beside us. Lorna Byrne, she's one of the mystics of Ireland and this Celtic world, and she talks about angels. And when she sees an opening. People talk about a death, they see a white light. She sees an opening channel spinning around with legions of angels on every side, and light and love and grace that is there. And she sees it all the time. She's seen it since she was a child. Being able to see that opening between the worlds and knowing those ancestors, that strength, that power that is walking with us. Why would we want anything less? of you this season of autumn is to do the hard work, to face the fears, to call on your ancestors, to call on those powers, and allow yourself to feel every emotion you need to feel, to dig it out, to let it go, to scream and yell and laugh and dance and be alive. Cry and be sad, but allow yourself to be loved through it all, and know that you are held, and the wheel will turn again, because it's all a circle of life. And so it is.
And so it is.